Saturday night. Get this here set up. It's a UFC fight tonight. I like watching old Adesanya fight, but hopefully he not complacent or arrogant and don't get beat. Okay, somebody in here. Patel, thank you for being a member. I see they changed the little icon for the members. YouTube did that. Y'all gotta forgive me a little raggedy band-aid. See if I can take this off while I'm talking. Cut finger opening a water bottle for my wife. Dang, was sharp. Sliced my finger open. Want to pop in because not sure how many videos I'll get up and I'll be with the kids. Me and my wife will be with the boys over the next 7 nights. So want to pop in. We're a little early. I said 9:30, so I ain't really talking about nothing right now. But thank y'all for hopping on here and joining with me. Kenya, thank you for being in the Blessed Tribe. It just showed me that you've been a member for 5 months. Maria, it's a member for 30 months. Wow. That's amazing. Rob, John, God bless you. What YouTube need to do, YouTube, this is a little suggestion for y'all, because YouTube always sending these, what do you call it? Surveys to say help YouTube, make YouTube better. But it's been really a headache for me as a creator, because every single day it's another company emailing me, pitching another app, and all the apps do the same thing. And I'm like, my goodness, it's like, how do you tell which one is the best? So YouTube, if y'all want to keep us on here, y'all need to make a chat room for the memberships. And y'all got them people sitting out there in Silicon Valley. So I know it ain't gonna take them nothing but a day. Sitting there and do one of their hackathons and just create a chat room for the members. So that way, when the members log on to their somebody page that they are subscribed to as a paying member, they can click on members chat, and the members could just be in there chatting all throughout the day and sending each other messages and, you know, connecting and just talking about current events and topics and just building in that way, versus only being able to chat in the comments of the videos or on the community page when I post or make a post. You need to go and make a little chat on there. Or one of y'all reach out to me, one of y'all coders out there at YouTube, and build me TonyTube. I gonna pay you. Build me a little TonyTube with a chat in there. But I wanted to pop on here because one thing I've been trying to do, which I don't like doing, but I just realized that it's so intertwined in our world, is that we see a lot of times we're gonna see celebrities, and celebrities are going to set the tone, and they're gonna set the tone a lot of times, because what the celebrities do will then be blogged about, and it'll be blogged about, and the mind is so sensitive, and a lot of times we don't think about how sensitive the mind is, to where when you see something, it's just like anything we see, unless we completely, totally against it, we say, oh, I'm gonna do that. So I remember me and my wife, we went to the Maldives, and you know how social media work. When you post something, it goes like thousands of people see it. And when we went to the Maldives, we had not seen a single post about the Maldives. Like, there were no people really going over there when we went. And when we went, the Ritz-Carlton had just opened up. And they had been open like a week when we went. So we helped them open up, basically. And then after we posted that, next thing you know, seeing all kind of people that we know, people that we done seen online for a long time in the Maldives. The same thing when we did the Europe trip and we were in Amsterdam and Barcelona. Next thing you know, people who follow us on Instagram, they went there. And the thing is that's how the mind works. When you see something and it stretches your mind, that's why I was posting, that's why I've been posting a lot, to stretch people's mind, to say, listen, get out your city. Like, you could take this here money and buy a bag or some shoes, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's cool. But if that's what you want to do first, okay, instead of getting that second one or third one, take that and go see something that you never thought you would see. And the sights we just saw in Arizona was just, it was, I was sitting when I was up there on my, what you call it, contact tracing, when I was shooting videos from my gym. When I was up there, I said, you know what, me and my wife need to get away for 3 nights. So I wrote my wife, I said, hey, can you find me 3 nights that we free as a family, and I want to book us somewhere. So it was a surprise. And I wasn't going to tell her where we was going. But then as we got closer, I was like, you know, I probably need to go ahead and tell you so that you got everything you need. And when I told her, she was like, I'm so glad you told me, because I would have been way underprepared. But I realized how the mind stretches when I see something online. And a lot of times we don't think about it. But if I see this, the reason why I went to the Ritz-Carlton in the Maldives is because their reel showed up on my popular page. And when I seen that aerial view, I was like, I gotta get there. Never thought it would be possible. Never thought I would do it, but somehow I was able to make it happen and went on over there. And I'm gonna keep doing that. And so I say that to say, the same way we can be inspired by good things, the same way we can be influenced by negative things. So one of the practices that I have, and my son, he think I'm blowing hot air, but I study the rappers. So if I see a rapper or whoever, or artist or R&B singer, if I go on Twitter and it's trending that somebody just dropped an album or a single, I go listen to it. So I heard Cardi B and Lil Wayne and somebody else dropped maybe it was Lil Durk, a single. So I was listening to it, but I didn't get to fully listen to it. And then I seen Lil Durk did an album. So I've been listening to that album, because what you have to realize is hundreds of thousands of people gonna listen to that, or millions gonna listen to that. And the mind is so sensitive that whenever this artist says male, female, black, white, what have you, just like the young man who got the song that say, I put you in first class. I guarantee you 100,000 people, their next flight upgraded to first class just because he said first class. And that's how the mind works. And a lot of times we don't understand that, and we don't realize that your subconscious mind picks up everything. It doesn't miss anything. And so we think we can watch a reality show or a movie or listen to music and it has no effect on us. No, your subconscious mind is picking everything up and it accepts it as fact. And it starts to create and move your life toward it unless you address it and you refute it. You're gonna subconsciously do it. It's just like if you're trying to abstain from, fornication, but you're listening to Chris Brown and you listening to Trey Songz, you're gonna start to feel a way, and you're gonna you might have a vision, and you might have a memory, that little emotional tie that you have with somebody from your past. You feel it, and you like, where is this coming from? But it's just that connection. And if you're not mindful of what you're watching and what you're listening to, then it affects us. So that's why I take And I looked at, all of, I listen to the music because this lets me know, okay, 100,000 youth or 1,000,000 youth is about to do this. So the young man, Lil Durk, on there, it was good and bad because he talking about not seeing his kids. And like, how can I be real if I ain't seeing my kids? I ain't around my kids. I guarantee you 100,000 plus men finna make an effort to see their kids more. Just cause that's a gut punch. But then when he say he, take drinking lean or taking Percocet and he don't mess with Molly, that's gonna make a whole lot of people using Molly be like, man, yeah, I need to let that Molly go and just be on this here Percocet and this lean. And as I'm listening to it, even though I'm studying it, I felt like taking me a life. And this why I'm expressing this, because I articulate myself. And that's what I've been doing since 22 years old when I wrote my first book, is articulating what men are thinking and what we're feeling but not saying. When I listened to that Lil Durk album, I felt like taking me a life. I'm like, oh yeah, somebody got to get it. Yeah, I need it. Yeah, I need to slide on my ops. Oh yeah, what he said about me? Oh yeah, I got to put him in the ground. Like, I literally felt like that. And I had to process, like, man, Tony, you a killer? Like, man, you gonna kill somebody? And I was like, yeah. Say something about me. Get online, running your mouth. Put a price on your head. Like, I literally start to sit there and feel like that. And I'm gonna tell y'all, that is what's happening. That's why Chicago is the way it is. When you got somebody that's the voice, they don't realize that power. They don't realize because they don't understand the mind. And what they say out their mouth, it take hold. And that's why the adversary attacks influencers so greatly. Think about this. And this is why you have to talk to your children about what they are listening to. So we went to my wife's grandfather's funeral today. And the pastor who did it, it inspired my son to change his life, because everybody was talking about how great he was and how loving and kind, my wife's grandfather. So my son was like, I got to be a better person. So when he left there after hearing those words about his grandfather, his great grandfather, he wrote on his Snapchat, hey, I'm going to be working on myself to represent Christ on a daily basis. I know I have not been the best representation of Christ, but anything you saw from me or experienced with me that did not represent Christ, I'm asking you to forgive me and give me a clean slate. And that's what my son wrote, off of just being influenced by the speaker. And it hit me too, because you start to think about, what will people say about me at my funeral? What type of person am I? How am I treating people? How am I living my life? And what type of legacy will I leave? And so when you hear this stuff, and so that's why I listen to this stuff, but you can't just listen to it. If you're going to listen and see what's going on, you have to be mindful. You got to be mindful. And really, I would only recommend listening to it if you have a platform that you use, and even if you're talking to 5 people, or if you working with the youth, if you're a teacher or whatever, counselor, parent, aunt, uncle, if you're working with the youth, keep your finger on the pulse. And so my son listens to secular music. I'm listening to it because I know he listening to it. So I have to refute it. I got to help him understand the brokenness in this young man that he's listening to, whatever artist he listening to, I listen to that album and break it down. And I talked to him just today after the funeral. I said, listen, they said a lot of good things about your great grandfather, but I want you to understand he wasn't always that man. He had to grow into that man, I guarantee you, because nobody perfect. And I say sometimes the brighter our light is, the darker our darkness is. So what that means is if you can start now at 15 years old desiring to be better, you're going to have a huge head start. See, I'm 38 and I'm still working every single day to be better. And it's not easy. And I told my son about riding around with a gun in my lap when I was in the streets and sleeping with that gun under my pillow and pulling that gun on people in intense situations where I thought something was about to pop off, and making those bad choices, trying to look a certain way, be a certain way. And that right there is what's fueling us. If y'all pay attention to this, look at the pro athletes. Go online and look at these pro athletes. Like the one I just was talking to you about, the NBA player, Bridges, who allegedly, I think my son told me, turned himself in. But I saw somewhere they said wife and somewhere they said mother of his children. So I don't know if they was married. But she posted the video of her bruises and all of that. And then that young man is a rapper. And this young man making millions of dollars. And when you listen to the young man music, you would not think he's a part of a multi-billion-dollar association like the NBA. You literally would think that he just got out the streets yesterday or still in the streets, calling shots, moving weight, dealing with the cartel. And if you notice, a lot of these NBA players, I just saw Kendrick Perkins going off on Draymond Green for something Draymond Green said. What we don't realize is the temperature in the room is that a lot of men today have this falsified ego and this toxic masculinity, that is the word that people hate, because of the music they listening to. And everybody got air in their chest and playing a tough guy role. So what that takes and does is, for the people that listen to certain types of music, and it could be heavy metal, it ain't just rap, it's affecting them in every area of their life. And a lot of times we don't process it. When you're listening to certain music and you got that beat going, I was listening to, you drive faster, you cutting people off in traffic, you mean mugging people. Don't let it be a nice day out. You got your window down, got the arm out the window, because of what you listening to. It changes you, it affects you, and we don't even realize it. You could listen to something and you could have been to stop smoking weed. You could listen to something and it want to make you smoke weed again. I've never smoked weed, but I just know how it works. It could make you want to go sleep with somebody. It could make you want to do something, and we're not processing it. And so you also have to limit some things. Even with my son, what I took and did is I limited his social media 30 minutes a day, because it affects you. It affects your attitude. And so even as adults, we got to limit our intake of things that are not advancing our life. If it's not moving the story forward, in script writing, screenwriting, they tell you, if it doesn't move the story forward, this scene, then cut it. If it don't move the story forward, and we have to do that with our lives, because we are writing a screenplay with our lives. We're writing a book with our lives. If it doesn't move the story forward, then remove it. And so we got to get to that place to where we really evaluate it. So I listen to this and I'm like, it's about to be a lot of homicide just off of this one album. It's about to be, and when you listen to the some of the women music, whoever it may be, Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion or whoever, when you listen to that music, when you done listening to it, you like, it's finna be a lot of babies brought into the world from relationships that are not solidified. Unmarried people finna make a baby off of this here song right here. A lot of us was born from a song. A lot of us was conceived from a song. That song got your mom and your daddy in the mood, and them boots went to knocking, and you was conceived, and you literally here not because of a strategic plan. Now God got a plan, but your parents ain't have no strategic plan. Most of us hear from a song that our mom and daddy listened to, and just got in that mood. And so when you think about it, so that's why I'm listening to this, so that I could talk to my son, and I could, be ahead of it, but also talk to adults, because it affects us, and not just the music now, also the relationships. What we see celebrities do in their relationship, it then starts to become what we want to do. So if we see a preaching man get a divorce from an actress wife, it say, whoa, if the devout Christian man who guest preaching in everybody church could go through a divorce, oh, I could let my marriage go. And we'll throw in the towel and not trust God for healing, and not continue to do the work, because we saw somebody that we thought was more holy than us let their situation go. But we don't even know the behind the scenes of their situation. But it just takes and it influences us. And then when you see these women get cheated on and it comes out and they go back, then it will tell a lot of women, oh, let me take my man back. And your man might be a deadbeat in a whole nother way. And that woman might be taking that man back just because of the circumstance and situation. Like, they celebrity, they got kids, and he got money, or they got a long history. She cheated too. He didn't tell nobody because he didn't want his ego hurt. So we really don't know what's going on, but just that small act, what seems small, will dictate a lot of people's relationship. And so this the thing is, without the full story, people start to make a decision. I remember it hit me one time. I was coaching a young lady, and she said, I did this right here. And I was like, why you did that? She was like, because of your post that you posted that said this and that. I said, that ain't even have nothing to do with relationships. I'm like, why would you read a post online and then make a drastic change in your relationship? And that post wasn't even about relationships. Oh, it wasn't? Oh, I ain't know. I thought it was about relationship because you talk about relationship. I said, no, that was a business quote. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And that's what I understand about social media. That's why I'm on YouTube now talking for an hour, because if I do a 3-minute video, 5-minute video, people miss the message in with me talking for an hour. So how they gonna get the message in 3 minutes? A 1-minute reel, that's fake motivation. Them reels, the shorts on YouTube, TikTok, that's all that fake motivation. And when you really want growth and change, you got to go deep. You got to have a lesson. You got to be immersed. You ain't gonna make change off 60-second snippets. That ain't gonna provoke real change. You got to have a game plan. You got to have a strategy. I remember my business partner used to always tell me, hope is not a strategy. Somebody made up that quote somewhere along the way in the business world. Hope is not a strategy. Now for believers, hope is a strategy as well. Faith, walking by faith, which is hope is in there. So it's a little different, but you got to have a strategy. And so you're going to have to go deeper. And that's why I had to come over here, because I'm like, a lot of people misconstruing the message. A lot of people reading a quote and not really getting it. And we got to go to another level, because today it's becoming we're in such a microwave society. And you have to think about this. And I tell people all the time, God made love in the oven. not the microwave. But when you think about anything good, it come out the oven or a crock pot. When have you ever had something that was absolutely delectable out the microwave? But that's the society we live in, a microwave society, where everybody wants everything fast. We want instant gratification. Somebody wrote me today. Now, I showed y'all in my YouTube course, which all the courses right now is 50% off. For those of y'all who are in the Blessed Tribe, you go to community page, y'all got a different code. And Patreon, Blessed Tribe, Patreon, and subscribers on Instagram, y'all got a different code that give you 70% off. But listen, I saw this too. I just did a streams of income course, and then I saw a video of a guy saying people don't need streams of income. They need to just focus on one thing and just make that one thing happen. So somebody will take that and they could have another stream of income that's right there at their fingertips and not do it because of what somebody said who could be speaking from a total different place. But then the only reason, so the most I could do that's realistic is a video a day. So if I do 365 videos, that's all I could do. I cannot control YouTube algorithm. I cannot control who's going to see the video. And there are people who talk about the algorithm for a living. Their whole channel is about the algorithm, and I get more views than they get. But they are algorithm experts and ain't making no money. And they show what they make. And my channel make double or triple what they make, and they may have, and some of them I see got more subscribers than me. But now I ain't gonna come on YouTube publicly and show what I'm making on here, but that's what they do. So the finance channel or whatever, so they show that, and then it let me know like, man, you got all the answers and I'm doing better than you. But we will listen to somebody who don't know what they talking about, but we will take it as gospel. So here go this man saying, oh, you don't need streams of income. You need to just focus on one thing. You know, these ain't streams of income. These streams of struggle. And that's a lie, because the Bible tell you, try your hand at 7 different things because you don't know what's going to take off. So you could be focusing on one thing, but you on the wrong thing. And you don't know it because everybody had told you, just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit. But it just ain't happening for you. It ain't happening for you, and it might not be happening for you because it ain't meant to be. And I remember my own daddy told me when I was building the infrastructure for my business, he said, Tony, you doing too much. You doing too much. And I said, Daddy, I'm not doing all of this stuff. I said, I'm laying a foundation. I'm laying $1 billion foundation. And then I'm going to come back and build one thing at a time. But I got to start my Twitter, start my Facebook, start my Instagram, whatever social media pop up. Start like my YouTube. I started it in 2011. But I didn't make consistent videos until 2019. Before 2019, I would make videos in waves. I may make 3 videos in a month. Some months you might get 5 or 7. Before 2019. It was 2019 where I consistently did 3 videos a week. And that was a whisper from the Spirit in 2019, because what happened in 2020? Everything got shut down. So the Spirit had took and shifted me. But had I said, oh no, I don't need multiple streams of income, because at that time YouTube was paying me $200 a month. So if I said I don't need multiple streams of income, I would have not shifted. And then a little bit later, my speaking business, my traveling, where I travel and speak, would have been shut down, and I wouldn't have been prepared because somebody online told me streams of income is streams of struggle. Well, guess what struggle do? Struggle bring progress. Struggle make you stronger. So guess what I did? I made a streams of income course and charge $10 for it. Now, I make 7 figures, which I now have to say what 7 figures is. My businesses, I don't make now. 7 figures, $1 million or $1 million up to 9,999,000 up until 10 million. Then 10 million would be 8 figures. And so, and the reason why I say that, because I was saying 6 figures, and one of my family members recently told me that they thought 6 figures was $1 million. I said, well, these schools got to do better. These schools have got to do better. You is 30-some years old and you thought 6 figures was $1 million? You ain't never think to count the numbers? But hey, I can't judge. And so, listen, the only way I could do this, if I do a video a day on YouTube, it's going to max out. So guess what? I seen people was doing a video a day and it maxed out. And they started making a lot of money based on what they talking about. But now guess what? The recession here. The recession looming. So advertisers spending less money. So now that money getting cut. So if you just was under the mindset of just do one thing and not create a second stream of income, when that shift happened, now you stuck like Chuck. But why wouldn't you have a YouTube and write a book? You could do both. You write a book, that's just a season in your life. You write a book, like I told you, to birth your book live seminar that I'm doing on July 16th, where I'm teaching how I write these 250-page books in 1 week. So why not write a book if you got a plan that you could write a book that garners you a 6-figure book deal from a top 5 publisher, and you could do this in a week? Why not do that? Why say, oh, I'm just gonna have one stream of income and I'm just gonna just do YouTube, when you could write a book in a month and then be done with it? But then as you doing YouTube, guess what you doing? You taking and you multiplying. Because if you do YouTube and you get 1,000 views, you might make $1 from YouTube. That the average pay for 1,000 views, monetized views on YouTube, is $1 to $2. So for them 1,000 views, you made $2. YouTube taking 45%. So they tell us, we don't know what they taking because we ain't seeing the books. Listen, them numbers get cooked. You hear me? It's some stuff getting shaved off back there. Because, oh, these expenses. Oh, this expenses right here. Oh, this is processing fee right here. Oh, this is an administration fee right here. So if you go to read that fine print, it might let you know you getting 55% of this after this. So now, but guess what? If you get 1,000 views, YouTube monetized views, YouTube giving you $2. But if you took the time to write a book, now let's say out them 1,000 views, 10 people buy your book. And your book is on sale on your website for $20. Now you just made $200. Your book only took you a month, 6 months, however long you write. But now that video, every video that you get 1,000 views, if you sell 10 books and your book is $20, that's $200. YouTube giving you $2 for them 1,000 views. If you on the average pay scale, on my YouTube course, I show y'all what they pay me, but I don't share that information publicly because I believe, even though the investment is small, I believe in people making an investment. And see, this is the thing, is how you have to live your life based on your blueprint and what makes sense for you. And you can't just listen to us talking online. Because if I tell you something and you're not ready, see, before you introduce that second stream of income, you may need to give stream number 1 some legs. You give it some legs so it could stand. And then you introduce stream number 2. It's just like when you having kids. The reason why your body can't have a child when your first child is 6 months old You ain't ready. Your body ain't ready. It ain't processed yet. You got to get to a certain point because you carrying that baby for 10 months, technically. 4 months, you know, you don't know. Then boom, you miss that cycle. Boom, now you know. Now you carrying that baby 9 more months. So that's their process. Same thing with streams of income. You don't just create something today and then create something tomorrow. Unless you need to start it just to have that date in place, and then you're going to come back and build number one. So guess what? I built Twitter, and that's what built my brand. That's what got all the celebrity clients that I have come from Twitter at first. But if I said, oh, this is my one stream of income, I'm just going to focus on this. I'm not going to do Facebook. But guess what? Twitter stalled out at 300,000. I started a Facebook page. It's at 1.8 million. Had I I ain't gonna do Instagram. Instagram went up to 900,000. So here, Twitter changed my entire life. If I just would have said, oh, I'm gonna just have my foot on the gas, I'm just gonna do this, and I didn't start thing number 2 and thing number 3, and then guess what? YouTube came in and blessed me more than all 3 of those other social media networks combined. Because now I was able to stack. Because now with a video, YouTube say, boom, we gonna put some advertisement, so we gonna pay you. Then they say, we're gonna give you memberships. Then they say, members can send you a donation. Then they say, memberships can send you a thank you applause donation. So just right there, they done gave you 4 streams of income. Because it's 4 different things. But then on that same video, you could get paid by a company to mention their business. That's 5 streams. Then you can mention your book. That's 6 streams. Then you can mention your course. That's 7 streams. So you know how long it take me to make a course? It take me 3 hours to make a course. So why wouldn't I create a course for 3 hours because I want to just keep one stream of income? Because I'm like, oh, it's too much work to have multiple. Oh, that's too much work to have multiple. Why wouldn't I take 3 hours and that one course that I could mention in a YouTube video could be selling every single video on top of what YouTube paying? So see, when you listen to what just people say online, what the artists say in their music, what we do in our relationships and show the world, and what we say, if that does not fit your life, then you moving backwards. So you have to analyze and evaluate what is going to work for you. So guess what? The reason why I hit a goal is because of multiple streams of income. Because I could max out and do everything I could do on YouTube, but it's only going to pay me so much. It's only going to pay me so much. And if I just say, oh, I'm going to just keep punching and punching and punching, guess what? I'm going to have burnout because I cannot control their algorithm. And they are not going to tell me what I need to do exactly. And if they tell me, guess what they finna do? Because they bored and they got to earn their money, they gonna change stuff every week, every month, every 6 months. They changing it. Them people not gonna keep telling me. They gonna say let who gonna win. Natural selection. Let who gonna win. We ain't telling y'all our secrets. Because if we tell y'all our secrets and we're a multi-billion-dollar company, somebody else finna create a social media that is our competition and they finna just steal our algorithm. So they never gonna tell us how to win on here. And so guess what I come and did? Guess what I come on here and did? I did everything my way. No thumbnails. No custom thumbnails. No full long description box. No keyword tags. No clickbait titles. No, none of that. And when I see all of these people show what they being paid, YouTube pay me more. But they got all the advice. They got all the tips and the tricks. I got on the phone with a man from Los Angeles. He called me and he said, we represent 800 YouTubers from such and such on down. The person he said is huge, real huge. And I said, okay, man. So and I asked him a question. I said, okay, so based on your expertise, on your 800 clients, I say, what would you say my pay rate is on YouTube? What CPM? He said, well, looking at your views, looking at your subscribers, looking at your content, he said, I would say $1 to $2 per 1,000 views. I took and showed him what it was. He said, what? He said, can I screenshot this? He said, I have never seen this in my life. I ain't never seen this in my life. And I said, you know what I think it is? I told him my algorithm and what I do differently and why I think it's working. But I did it my way because I'm not a talk for 3 minutes person. So somebody will come and look at me and say, oh, you talking an hour, you talking too long. No, that is what my heart said do. And see, this is the other thing. When you chase purpose, the money gonna chase you. When you chase purpose, what's for you gonna chase you. See, when you chasing profit, when you chasing an algorithm, when you chasing a trend, you always gonna be lacking and you always gonna be chasing something. But when you are the trend, when you set the trend, when you innovate, Steve Jobs say the difference between a leader and a follower is innovation. So when you innovate, so it's just like this right here. I could talk you to death about relationships. But if I talk you to death about relationships and my relationship doing good, I get tired of talking about toxic relationships if my relationship doing good, because then I'm bringing other people's toxicity into my household. So every now and then, I want to talk about something else. And then guess what? There's going to be a group of people that say, Tony, you got my relationship together, but you also helped me get my business together. You also helped me get my grind together. You also helped me identify my purpose. So now I'm a well-rounded person. So instead of just chasing love, which we shouldn't chase love, we should become love. And then love will surround us. Zig Ziglar said, if you want friends, then be a good friend. Stop looking for friends and be a good person. Be a good friend, and then you're going to have friends. And so the same thing. When you take and you create your blueprint, what you'll notice, let me tell y'all something that's been happening. Every single day I'm getting 5-10 emails from people, and the emails say the same thing. Say, Tony, I really like your video. They watching this video. They finna see this and then see I'm talking about them. Tony, I seen your video on such and such, and it was really great how you said this and said that, but what I got is a way to take your business to the next level. So what I've taken and done is I've created a 3 email sequence that I'm going to give you free of charge. Just respond to this email and let me know you want this free email sequence. These people sending me the same exact script with a few words change because they have taken somebody course. They have taken somebody course who is a master marketer. And this person has a copywriting course or a social media master. He got some kind of course. He or she got some kind of course that's telling people to write influencers and offer us email copywriting. I'm so sick of getting these emails. And then somebody wrote me and they said, Tony, why don't you go in depth in your life coach training course on how to coach? The reason why I don't go into depth is because I don't want you to be my clone. I want you to understand how to brand yourself. I want you to understand how to build your business. I want you to understand the business of coaching, but I don't want you to have a script to coach just like me. So a young lady, she came to me for coaching, and we on a coaching session, and she said, well, I just spent $3,000. She said, I just spent $3,000 with this other coaching company for coaching. And so it's a major guy who got a coaching program, but he's not doing the coaching. He got a bunch of coaches who done took his training and they have a script. So she said, I could tell when I'm on the session with the coach, it's not the guy who is the face of the company and doing all the marketing online. I'm working with just some random person who I don't know if they living out of can, but they on the phone taking me through this script and supposed to be coaching. But now when me and her talked, I went directly to her Instagram and I gave her specific feedback for her Instagram, specific feedback for her website, for her entire brand, because that's what I do and I built a brand. So she spent $450 with me, but she spent $3,000 with this company who spend all of this money marketing. So that's the thing. The more, see, when you authentic and you original, we master in different areas. Some people master in selling and some people master in serving. So, and it's hard to do both. So I master in serving. So I don't do a bunch of sales in the sense of I have no paid advertisement going out right now. I've never done a real campaign, like a real one that actually is legitimate. I post something and hit the boost button, and I've never spent big money on paid advertising because I'm focusing on the value that I'm giving. But what I notice is the people who spend the most money on marketing and advertising have the least value. They got the most stuff now. They got more stuff. So you go in there and it's 50 million modules, but they ain't teaching you nothing that you really can grasp and then make a change with. And so that's what we have in this world today is we live in a world of microwaves. We live in a world of smoke and mirrors. And what is dictating our life is the algorithm on the social media and what we're being shown. And it's deciding what we're going to eat, where we're going to travel to, what kind of music we're going to listen to, what kind of business we're going to start. So people are literally starting businesses because somebody made something look good online and it might not be their purpose. And you got to get into your purpose. You got to get into your space and be able to do what you call to do and then trust that everything else going to catch up. And that's what we're not doing. And so I want you to think about this. I want you to be mindful of this. And this is like a group coaching session. I want you to be mindful of this and really come to that place to where you analyzing what you watching and what you listening to. Then you ask yourself, is this moving my life forward? Or is this a distraction? Is it derailing me from my purpose? Is it taking me off from my goal? Or is it moving my life forward? And then make sure about your influences and think about your body and like what you feel, how you're feeling. And when you think about how you're feeling and what you feel like doing, then you also think about, well, okay, what have I consumed? Like, what have I watched? What have I listened to? And, oh, that's why I'm feeling like fornicating. That's why I'm feeling like adulterating. That's why I'm feeling like smoking or drinking or shopping or misspending. That's why I'm feeling like this, because I've been watching this. I've been listening to this. I've been comparing myself to these people. And you got to recognize that. And when you start to do that, you start to take control over your life. And so what I'm seeing right now, and what I was going to say is we're seeing a bunch of tough guy energy online. We're seeing a bunch of tough guys and a bunch of bad bees, because that's what's being promoted. You know, bad bees, boss babes, and all of this. So a lot of women going into all kind of debt, all kind of stress, trying to look like a boss babe. And then a lot of men can't cultivate a relationship, can't really build nothing because they're focusing on a facade. And we all picking our poison. Now me, I choose to live. I choose to live. Like I max out every day. I max out every day. I'm not focused on, but see, that's for me. Because here's the thing. I done created a system to where I could get it out the mud in the literal sense. And this is what people don't understand with streams of income. When one go bad, you got another one that's already been building slowly. It's already there. If you wait until the famine to try to plant seed, it's too late. The ground ain't yielding. But if you plant it when you was supposed to plant, now you could reap a harvest. And that's what people fail to realize. So if YouTube slow down, guess what? I got books and courses and ghostwriting and business consulting and relationship coaching and t-shirts and all it, and iTunes spoken word and reels on Instagram and this and that, other things that I could pivot into when one thing slow down. But if I just listen to somebody who don't have the mental capacity, they don't have the bandwidth to have multiple streams of income, so they hate on the people who have multiple streams of income, and I let them take and suppress my natural ability to manage multiple things at once, I'm losing, because they're speaking from their inadequacy. They're speaking from their lack instead of seeing abundance. And so I was just in Sedona, Arizona, and guess what? There's a lady in, I don't know where she lives. I don't know if she's in Sedona, but she's a chef. This lady got 6 different restaurants. They tell you not to open one restaurant because they say it's one of the worst business investments known to mankind, but yet we got a restaurant on every corner. But they tell you not to do it because of bad investment. I had a restaurant before, and I let my family run it, and it got ran right into the ground. And would it have been different if I was running it? I don't know. But I build business, I build brands, I built my brand. I'm willing to bet on myself, but I didn't want to do that. I did that for them. And so this lady got 6 restaurants. Within a few mile radius, we went to 3 of the 6. Because her restaurant's getting the highest ratings and reviews in Sedona, Arizona. And when I went to the restaurant, it was when we went to her little pizza restaurant, it was the best pizza I had. When we went to her Latin restaurant, it was the best filet mignon I had. When we went to her Italian restaurant, it was off the chain. But guess what? She's a chef. She understands food. She understands recipes. She understands flavors. She understands the ambiance of a restaurant. So she in her zone. She's not a rapper who opened up a restaurant in the middle of Atlanta and is not a restaurateur, is not a chef, has never been a waiter, ain't did nothing in a restaurant but go in there and sit down and eat, but don't know nothing about the business of a restaurant, but just got money and say, let me open a restaurant. So of course you're gonna fail. But when this lady done sweated and toiled and to be a chef and then traveled the world learning about different cuisine and the culinary arts, when she opened a restaurant, now she could have 6 of them and be successful, when 99.9% of restaurant people who open a restaurant can't have one and be successful. 90% of them fail in the first 3 years. So this is the thing. You got to know yourself. So listen, if you know your spirit is not wired for a threesome, you can't go give your man or your woman no threesome just because all of the celebrities doing it. Because you might be sitting there in that thing, you chewing on pills out of stress and depression because you trying to have a hot girl summer when you need to have a cold girl summer. You trying to have a hot boy summer when you need to have a cold boy summer. Because you see, your favorite artist is now panlabella tibular sexual, and you're like, oh, well, what is that? And they're like, oh, well, this is a type of sexual orientation where I eat lettuce upside down while I'm fornicating. And we call this, and so now they got this new kind of sexual, and you're like, oh, well, that sounds kinky. Well, let me try that. And you ain't never really wore a dress with a good split up the leg. So, but now you finna go out here and invite a third party into your room because your favorite actor is in an open relationship. That's what we doing. We got people who are totally one way doing something totally different outside their personality. I could see, you know what? I go as a speaker. I'm gonna give you a personal example. As a speaker, I could go on Instagram and see this speaker and that speaker and that speaker doing video reels. And it's all they doing is video reels. Guess what? Then I want to do video reels. But I'm not a 1 minute sensational person. I'm a teacher. I go deep. We 55 minutes in and it feel like I've been talking 5 minutes. My gifting is different. So I should not take and condense myself to a 1 minute reel. If I'm built to do an hour without any other guest, without anybody throwing me questions, without anybody being on camera with me, without any note cards, if I can talk and make a point and teach a lesson for a whole hour without any note cards. And I remember when I told my dad I was going to be a pastor, I was thinking about being a pastor. He said, son, this is what I want you to do first. He said, because it looked easy. He said, I want you to talk for 45 minutes. He didn't know who he was talking to. I could teach for 4 hours straight. If y'all had the ability, for those of y'all who was on that Zoom with me for $25, for $25 now, how long that Zoom was when I did the Q&A? I talked for 2 hours, and then I answered questions for the next 8 hours. We did a 10-hour Zoom. Hey, Zoom, somebody who worked for Zoom, let me know what kind of record that is now. Y'all need to give me a Zoom award. We was on there 10 hours. 10 hours. I was so tired. It almost turned me against mankind. I say, how can y'all sit here and have me on this thing for 8 hours answering questions after I done talked for 2 hours? I said, Lord, humanity just don't care about nobody else. But I sat there and was on there 10 hours. And so I say that to say, how many speakers gonna have the humility and the patience and the perseverance to be on some 10 hours? So why would I take the blueprint for somebody who is arrogant? Somebody who won't stop and take a picture. Somebody who won't stop and sign an autograph, sign a book. If I'm the complete opposite, why would I get a blueprint from somebody instead of create my own blueprint? When I spoke in South Africa, it was in a theater, 600 seats. We sold it out. I literally stood there after that seminar and signed, I feel like 400 of the people books and took pictures. I was so drained and tired. But I said, you know what? This ain't always going to be. I'm in another continent speaking. At 30 years old, I can't be arrogant and walk around with 12 armor bearers. Like the pastor who got 25 members and half of them armor bearers. And so you got to have your own blueprint. You got to do what makes sense for you. I can't listen to this man talk about streams of income and streams of struggle when I got over 50 streams of income. Because I can manage it, because it don't take managing. You create one, and then boom, it get legs. So guess what? And this is what people don't understand. People get online and just teach real estate. I showed my son digital real estate. I seen a guy who followed me, who studied me, took and make a whole course, which basically was, the course was the blueprint of my life, and call it digital real estate. But the guy followed me and studied me now. But see, listen, and I don't say that, I'm going to tell you like the MLM people say, the multi-level marketing people say, that quote they say, I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you. It's like, listen now, can you find another quote? Because every last one of y'all meetings I done come in here, all y'all using that same line. And you not impressing me or impressing upon me. So can you please find another line? And so listen, I showed my son a digital asset. And I said, okay, son, look right here what this here made. what this made. And I said, now tell me, how many times did I have to change a roof? Did I have to fix an AC? Did I have to evict anybody? Did I have to chase anybody for the rent payment? Did I have to pay property taxes? Did I have to pay, this and that? Didn't have to do none of that. Son, what I had to do for this, sit in front of my phone for 3 hours and create the content. And then it can live for the rest of my life and his life too. His life, it might be collectible art. It might be something he could take and change the price, and he's selling my courses for 10 times what I'm selling them for. And then let me tell you something else. And I'm going to tell you how, what I'm trying to help you understand is you got to understand your fingerprint. You got to understand your fingerprint, because what a lot of people don't realize is that what is one thing you have that nobody else in the world has? Your fingerprint. So why are you trying to open your door to destiny with somebody else's fingerprint? You can't open your door to destiny with my fingerprint. You could learn from me, you could hear from me, but you got to make it fit your life. So that might mean you take 10%. Let me tell you a story. I went to a seminar one time. I looked online, looked on Eventbrite. It was a seminar coming up close to me. I was feeling self-developmental. Never heard of this guy who put this seminar on, but it's at a real nice resort. And so I buy the ticket. It's $300. I ain't have $300, but I bought the ticket. Me, spirit of lateness, colored people time, as we used to call it, which we need to stop being derogatory against ourselves. Because I think we got a spirit of lateness and colored people time because we was not excited about life, and we was not excited about showing up nowhere because of the pain and struggle we in. And so we had to walk. We didn't have no cars when the colored people time was created. So I come in there. I'm the only one late. I ain't even that late. Everybody in there. So they follow him. Everybody in there, they sitting down. I'm like, whoa. And I bought a ticket like a VIP, like up closer to the front. So I had to walk in. So I'm disrupting the man thing. And I'm like one of 5 black people in there. So he looked at me. Now, what he don't realize is the way he looked at me in the streets would have got him killed. But because he on stage and he was feeling himself, I let him live. But what he didn't realize, the lifestyle I transitioned from, that look would have got him some hands put on him. Might not kill, I might have went overboard. It would have got my hands put on him. He looked at me like I was the scum of the earth because I had got there late. Man, I could have had a flat tire. So I learned the lesson. Just from right there, I learned the lesson. Don't ever make nobody feel bad about their situation or whatever, like you some God, because you don't know what they going through. And so I sat down, he talked, and it's just a bunch of regurgitating quotes. It just, none of it really sound original, like a blueprint from his life. And he tall, so he like 6 foot something. We all know height. See, I was about to say something derogatory. But we know height in a lot of ways. When you use it right, can give you an advantage. I was about to say if your knees don't knock. But now if your knees knock, listen, God love everybody. Ain't nothing wrong with knocking knees, okay? I'm not talking about but really what I'm talking about, like how Kenny Smith be walking on TNT. And that knee be knocking. But look, he made millions of dollars. They're probably from several knee surgeries from playing in the NBA. But the man using the height. The type of look he have is the look that we see in the advertisements for clothing brands that marketing to Caucasian. So he looked over 6 foot tall. So that play into what he doing as well. And that matters. So I could be talking substance. But if you look at me and you say, well, Tony, you don't look like the bottom of a shoe, or chewed up bubble gum, so I could look at you while I'm listening to you. That may help you. Now, if you thought I looked like chewed up bubblegum, it's gonna make listening just a tad bit challenging because of the programming we have from society that tell us what is handsome, what is beautiful, what is this and that. So every woman say they want a man that's over 6 foot. So a guy over 6 foot, when he step into business, he gonna have a advantage. And so, thank you for that blessing there that's coming here with that little joke. And see, I listened to a story a long time ago where the woman was praying to God for some bread, and the man didn't believe in God, and he heard her praying, so he got some bread and dropped it in her window, and he started laughing. She go think God bless her. She go think God bless her. And then she looked and she seen the bread, and she knows the atheist that gave her the bread. Then she started praying, Lord, thank you for using him, for touching his heart to drop the bread in here. He was like, oh my goodness, I was used by God. There was a story they told us as kids. It was one of them little recorded stories that one of the companies used to make. I say, man. So see, sometimes this person can't tell a little joke, knowing I don't smoke no weed, but that fired off into get me a cup of coffee. Thank you. God bless you. God will use anybody. And so listen. So I'm sitting there, I get a lesson from the man. How he looked at me, how he made me feel. I get a lesson because I'm a speaker. And so then he have other speakers. It's a 3-day seminar. The seminar is not for me. It's not for me because I did not know who he was. I did not know who he was. 2, it was not my demographic in there. 3, it was not my type of sales and stuff like that. But he had a guy come up and talk. The guy came up and talked. And the guy talked about a brand identity or whatever. And from that one person speaking, it hit me. Boom. I got what I came for. So that guy course was $1,000. I signed up for his course. I got through a third of the course. I paid $1,000, but it was so much content. I just didn't have the time as I'm building my brand and doing me. I just didn't want to take the time to go through the whole course, because in the first bit of the course, he talked about a proprietary process, creating your own proprietary process. So I created my own proprietary process called the GAP process. GAP standing for gifts and purpose, and you trademark it. So I trademarked the GAP process, where I help people connect their gifts with purpose. And me creating that, a young man followed me online. He wrote me, he said, can I pay you $750 to fly to your city and meet with you for 2 hours? I say, sure, you don't have to pay me. But he said, no, I want to honor your time. I said, well, thank you. So he gave me $750. When he sat down with me, he said, I want to work with you for a year. How much is it going to cost based on your coaching fees? At that time, I couldn't remember, but it came out to whatever number. And then he said, well, can I pay you $6,000 for half a year? I said, okay, I accept it. On that coaching call, I helped him create his proprietary process. So my $1,300 investment into myself then brought in $6,000 from him. I was able to add value to him because of the value I had added to myself by investing in myself. Now, guess what he just sent me the other day? He sent me a picture of a check from his client who has paid him, who is paying him $180,000 for 1 year of coaching. So now here he offered me, which was an investment for him, $12,000 for a year of coaching. And now he got a client that just hired him for $180,000. And he sent me a picture of the first quarterly check, which was $45,000. Now I said, hey, you better than me. You better than me, because I can't accept that kind of money. And I may be a low self-image. I can't accept that kind of money because I'm like, sure, I don't know if I give nobody $180,000 worth of value, but hey, God bless you. God bless you. Go right ahead, brother. I'm praying for you. And so I respect his courage. And because I'm like, boy, listen here. Somebody paid me $180,000, $45,000, and then they want to do a charge back. Man, I done went to the Maldives. Man, I done paid tuition. I done paid these lights, and then you would do a charge back. Cause I'm like, what can you say that's worth $45,000? I'm like, we really want to pay Jesus that much. So I said, hey, God bless you now. But guess what I did? I took and reached out to a man from YouTube. He got a sales funnel. Typical, everything typical. The man got a big channel on YouTube, over 3 million followers. Reach out to him. Somebody from his sales funnel called me. Somebody from sales funnel called me. Hey, yeah, Tony, yeah, we got this right here coming up. This virtual seminar, $2,500. I said, I want to talk to the man personally. I want to talk to how he built his YouTube channel. And how did this come about with him being able to interview this person, that person? He said, oh, okay. Well, to talk to him for 1 hour on Zoom is $20,000. To talk to him for 1 hour in person is $30,000. I say, wow. Now, I'm not there yet on that level of investing. Because like I say, if I could talk to Jesus for free, I'm finna struggle to pay $20,000 to talk to a man. So I did not do it. But it showed me how people put a price on their time, how people value their time. And I can't be mad at him. Because guess what? Somebody's going to pay that $20,000 to talk to him on Zoom. And because they stretch their mind to that point, they're going to make $200,000. I already know it because just how they stretch their mind. I'm not there yet. And I'm okay with that. Everything ain't for everybody. Now, when I get there, I know I'm going to turn that $20,000 investment into $20 million. But I'm not there yet. God bless the people who are. And so I see this of where when you create your blueprint or what makes sense for you, that's when you find your way. Because if what I'm doing don't make sense for you, if you like, listen, that's not my personality to not have a custom thumbnail now. Tony, I like to have stuff put together and I like to have stuff looking nice and all this right here. That's what you got to do then. That's what you got to do. Because it may be something else about my gifting that allowed me to do YouTube without custom thumbnails. But we don't know exactly what that is. So you got to do your blueprint and you take the other parts of the information and apply it. And so when you online and you analyzing, look at what are you doing in your life and where did that thought come from? Look at if you have a job and you don't want to start nothing on the side. You don't want to do anything else but that job. Get to the root of why. If you got 10 companies and none of them are successful, get to the root of why. If you start something and don't get it to the point that it has legs and then you do something else, get to the root of why. And so you have to then do that work, and now you start to find your way. Instead of just copying somebody else's way, you make it your own. So this is what somebody said. I saw a quote somebody posted that said, it's going around, that said, if you are the best, people don't expect you to be cheap. And if you are cheap, people won't think you're the best. And that right there is a lie. Because you could go to McDonald's and spend a few dollars for a hamburger and like that burger better than the burger you go and pay $15 for. The person who charged $15 for their burger, they got to charge that because of their marketing budget and their overhead. But my academy, when you go to my academy and you see the same courses I'm selling for $10, $100, $1,000, my $1,000 life coach training, somebody just hired me for coaching. And she said in that one session, I taught her more than she learned in her whole life coach certification that she paid $4,000 for. And I told her, I said, how did you find that life coach certification? She said, I Googled how to become a life coach. I said, is it these right here 2 people? She said, yeah, how you know? I said, because I Googled it too. Because I'm in the industry, I Googled it too. I said, so what you just bought was marketing. You didn't buy experience. You bought marketing. So they said, I heard somebody say a book is 95% marketing and 5% writing. Don't nobody read the whole books anyways. We read a chapter. We buy a book and read a chapter. Less than 10% of people probably read a whole book cover to cover. Most of us buy a book just to feel smart. And then we look at the chapter titles and we read the chapters that the titles speak to us. Because you got to go on with your life. Unless you read like fiction or you just in a space of growth. If you read a whole book cover to cover, you're different. You are different. You're a unique being in that area. But most people are not going to read a whole book. That's why when I talk to when I'm consulting an aspiring author, I tell them write every chapter like its own book. You don't have to go with the chapter before or the chapter after it, because that may be the only chapter that somebody read. We live in a microwave society, not an oven society. So here's the thing. It's a lot of people talking that don't know what they're talking about. I ain't gonna talk about nothing that I don't know what I'm talking about. So that's why when y'all ask me a question about taxes and all that, I say, let's go talk to a financial advisor, a CPA, because that's not my area. That is not my area. Absolutely terrible with money. So I'm not finna teach no whole channel on it now. I'm gonna leave that up to Sophia and the other financial people who they working diligently in their finances. And they could still be, we all gonna struggle in the area that we teach on. But just like I'm still working in relationship area, I still, every day I want to be a better husband. Every day I want to be a better husband. And I done spoiled my wife to a large degree. And I have to still remind her too about certain things that, like, listen, this is a part of marriage. This is what a husband now. I done spoil you, but I'm still gonna have opinions now. I'm still gonna disagree with stuff now, just because I'm a good guy. And so I had to remind her of that too. So I'm still working on myself in relationships, and I talk on relationships. That don't mean we're an expert. No, it don't mean you're an expert. So I say that to say, it's a lot of people online talking because it's trending. But what's happening is we going and we just watching a bunch of reels, we watching a bunch of shorts, we watching a bunch of stuff, and it's dictating our life. It's changing the way we move and changing what we do, and we're not connecting with ourselves. Social media network, we're not really networking. We're not really connecting. And the more that we on a social media, the less connected we are with ourselves. And when you're not connected with yourself, you don't know yourself, then you don't know your blueprint. So somebody said don't do cheat courses. And look, I did a stream income course, and I think it's $10. It's $10. Why is it $10? It's $10 because I want as many people that could take it to take it, instead of charging $1,000. Because if I charge $1,000, if I had 100 people that would have took it at 10, it's only gonna be able to 10 people that's able to take it at 1,000. And that's just the numbers. Their statistics say 70% of people cannot touch $1,000 right now in the case of an emergency. So right now, ask yourself, can you touch $1,000? And I'm talking about clear and free money, not your credit card. Can you touch $1,000 clear and free cash? That's in your, what they call it? Safety net or some kind of saving, where they tell you to get that $1,000 first. So can you touch that? If the answer is no, then that 70% sounding about right. They say 60% of people can't touch $500 right now in the case of emergency. So why am I going to charge $2,500 for a course? if I want to change people's life. I ain't reaching the people that I need to reach. I'm reaching the people who already got it together. I'm reaching people who already got it together. You got $2,500, you already got it together. I want to reach the person who got $10 in a dream. Because guess what? That income stream course, because this is what I realized. I wrote a book, and the book paid me $320 for the first royalty check. $320. If I listen to the people who said not to start another stream of income, and I did not become a book coach, as they call it, I call it author consultant, then I wouldn't have opened up the stream of income to teach other people how to self-publish, which pays me $2,500. So I charge $2,500 to $5,000 for author consulting. But when I was getting $300 a royalty check, and you only get 3 or 4 a year, them royalties coming out to $1,200, $1,500 for the year. Whereas author consulting is a different price point, because now you helping somebody realize a dream or a fantasy that can have a return on investment for them. It's a legacy piece. And you taking your time and you giving hours of your time. When you write a book, you ain't got to talk to the person. The page is talking to them. So you shouldn't charge $2,500 for a book, because you just do the work one time, and now you're trying to just mass market it, get as many people to buy it as you can. But when you on the phone, you doing one-on-one. And that's hour that you giving 10, 20 hours for this consulting, you're not getting that time back. So that's a different price point. And you're also teaching them something that they can have a return on investment. So now this isn't a vanity thing. They literally can pound the pavement and market in ways that you failed to market, or ways that it didn't work for you, but it works for them. And so a lot of people will get on YouTube and it don't work for them the way it worked for me. But they go get on TikTok and it works for them, and TikTok ain't working for me. My TikTok, I probably got like 6,000 people on there. Now I don't post regularly, but still, it ain't growing the way my other social media networks grew. I ain't even got my real name on there because I waited too late to get on there. So my name Tony Gaskins on every other network, but on TikTok it's Tony Gaskins Jr. Official. Ain't nobody finna find that. And so, guess what? That ain't working for me. So I'd be out of luck. So the same way I say this person who doing one thing, that next thing they start, a lot of times people don't mention this, but it's a lady who made a budgeting course. She was making $40,000 a year. It don't matter how hard you grind, that school system is not going to pay a teacher $400,000 because she work hard. The school system is going to pay you $40,000 or whatever your salary is, $70,000, $30,000. It don't matter if you come early and you leave late. The school system going to pay you that same amount of money. So guess what? A school teacher started a budgeting course. Maybe it did some social media along the way. Got to the point to where her budgeting course was paying her $1 million a month. Teaching people who tight on money how to save money. And then now look now, the same thing happened with Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey helping people just save $1,000, then pay off debt, and then buy everything cash. And from him teaching that simple system that Larry Burkett used to teach 50 years ago, teaching that simple system, he in a 24,000 square foot house, owned all kind of real estate, all kind of buildings, all kind of, and where did he teach it from? After he went bankrupt, after he lost everything. So now, something so simple. He could have just said, oh, I'm going to get this job. I'm going to just keep selling houses, keep being a realtor, keep trying to invest, find me little rental properties. But no, he said, you know what? I'm finna teach what I done struggled through. And then create systems. So first, it's one-on-one teaching. Then it's group teaching. Then it's a radio show or a TV show. Then it's other people teaching it. Then it's in-person conferences. Then it's a business in a box. It's a business in a box. You get your box just like this. And guess what? I got the box up there in my closet. Bought the box years ago. Financial Peace University. Almost every church in America selling Financial Peace University. He tapped into the church system. We go to the church, we pay $120 per couple to sign up for Financial Peace University. He getting them a little piece of that. Most likely, I'm speculating. Every church selling it. I ordered it. I paid $400 and some for it. It didn't work for my household. Did not work for my household. Because my wife is not the type of person to be in the grocery store with envelopes. She's not the type of person